is Stacey Morrison, broadcaster, mama, author, Ngāi Tahu, and Te Arawa. Kia ora, Stacey, how are you?
Tēnā koe, kei te pai ahau, kei te pēhea koe, you all good?
Kei te pai, I'm all good, thank you. Stacey, that one question. What was the number one attribute or skill that you needed when you first started out in broadcasting to become successful?
I'm going to say resilience, and that's because I'm really aware that in a job like broadcasting, people might look at it and go, okay, you just turn up and you do these things and this is successful and this looks the part and all of that. But along the way, there are a lot of crises of confidence. For me, particularly in broadcasting, I felt like there were some things that I knew what I was doing, just make me say the thing in front of the camera. I can do that easily. But when it came to, say, wrestling with my own identity as a wahine Māori on screen, in front of people, in an environment that was really uncomfortable for me because I was around fluent speakers and I wasn't a fluent Māori speaker myself. So I guess I saw points at which I could have just dipped out. I could have gone, I'm going to go for an easier path because this is hard and it hurts my way to it every single day. But I guess that what I gathered and summoned was resilience, but also stubbornness. Because I had a sense of what it might mean for me if I could recover my reo and recover my culture. I guess it's always part of me. I believe you're not so much learning as recovering and uncovering. So because I had this inkling of what it could mean for me, I kept on going. I had to have resilience, but there were times that I look back at and I think, I'm glad I didn't give up, because it was my job to make things look easy and not uncomfortable. But the reality is that it was uncomfortable and it was hard. And it did give me crisis of confidence and of my own, I guess, sense of self and sense of identity. So when it comes to that, I think if you're listening to your inner puku voice that says, I know it, that's actually what I want. It's like your intuition, then it's harder to give up. But I'm grateful to myself for not giving up. I'm grateful for the resilience that I've found or built. But I just actually want to affirm that it's hard, and people who do things that look flash are having to battle their own stuff as well.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that, so firstly, thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that. And after talking with a lot of people, like, we all have those demons. Everybody has those, I'm not saying lack of self-confidence, but those areas where sometimes we just, got that imposter syndrome and all that sort of thing. There's a couple of, I guess, questions I want to ask, or probably one's more of a statement. And I believe right now that especially Māori female wahine, that I feel like the time is right now where there's a lot more that are stepping, I wouldn't say stepping up, the voice sort of stood up, but there's a lot more that are putting themselves out there now. And I love what you said, because, the whole point of this is to, for other Māori and other Pacifica to see somebody like yourself and know that, sometimes it actually is hard, because shit isn't always bloody easy, is it?
Oh, no, and that's just untruthful if I said that it was easy. But I think those factors that you're talking about, those wahine and these wahine and all of the aunties and mums that we know have always been strong, but the factors that need to adjust and settle are partially societal. So it's the collective work that we all do together to build pathways and remind people that when we only look at one perspective, we're losing a lot. And so we lose the opportunity of that knowledge. And I think the thing about whose voices are being centered, we're getting better at talking about that and calling that out. And what I'm really mindful of is that we do actually all work together. And pushing little boundaries, and that's actually our job to do that. And a lot of the time, so if I get 10 requests to do something, about 8 of them, I'll put them onto the person they should be speaking to.
Yeah.
Like I might just happen to be the Māori on the spot that they know, but I know someone else who should actually be speaking to them. So that conduit mahi is actually really important to me.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think amplifying other people's voices is one of my favorite things, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. And how did you go about building that resilience and building that confidence, Stacey? What can you talk me through? Yeah, how you go about it, or how you went about it? What does that look like?
And I guess confidence is an interesting thing because people can present outwardly as confident, but just remember we don't know what's going on for them, and internally. But for me, like karakia definitely help, and I might be saying them to myself, or it's breathing, it's thinking about things that on a cultural level we can do to calm ourselves. And also I put it in the context. I go, look who you descend from. You have this within you. This is actually what you need to do, not only to those who came before you, but also for the generations after. So when you put that in context, then for one thing, you can't get caught up in thinking you're such a big deal because, in that continuum of time, this is just your offering.
Yeah.
And then if you can look at it in terms of responsibility, what you can bring to the table. I quite often will have like this internal dialogue that's just helping me get into the right space. To get over myself sometimes.
Awesome. Stacey, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Kei te pai, kia kaha tātou.
Ka kite.